And then we were on a trip. We were on a pilgrimage. My husband and I do these pilgrimages every year where we go and travel all over the world and kind of steep ourselves in whatever like those sacred places are, right? It's a time to like really just focus on, our values, our mission, spirit, like through these spaces. And we were in Ireland and we were at a Mary grotto, and I had this just really profound, and like I'd never had something like this happen before, where I felt like God was talking to me. And the voice, whatever, you want to, however you interpret that or hear that for yourself. But in my mind, it sounded like a voice saying that no matter whether you and your husband, my husband's name is Rich, whether you and Rich have a child or not, you are a family. Somebody had probably maybe said that to me along the way, but it like, I get goosebumps and almost cried, pierced my heart. I was like, oh my gosh, like that is a truth. Like I allowed it, and kind of chose it to be a really profound truth in that moment. And it didn't suddenly mean like, oh, so does that mean we shouldn't have kids or, or that it was just, it opened a space, right? Another space. And just to see how I was so entrenched in like, no, a family is you have a child, right? Like that's a family. Like, well, no, I think it's bigger than that, and it's who you decide to surround yourself with, and, who are the people that are closest to you. And then right after that experience, like we literally conceived the next month, right? So is it, but sometimes I think like that stress, that pressure, like when we can have some of these deeper release points, it definitely contributes. I still think there's other contributing factors. So
I think that's right. I think there's a sense of what I'm hearing you say is that you felt whole and complete in your family unit and that everything was additive.
Yes.
And I think that's a really profound place to be whenever you're embarking on something new, whether you're entering a new relationship with a significant other and you're saying, I am in a great place personally. You're not going to fix anything or fill any missing pieces for me, but you're going to build and add to my life. It's a beautiful way to think about starting a family. We're awesome together. And wouldn't it be great if we added a child?
Yeah. And women, like yourself that decide, I think it's the same thing there. Like I have an awesome life, right? Like I don't need a partner, need a child, need like this, perfect career to like make me a whole human, right? I am a whole human. And, oh, cool. Like I'm making a choice to invite other things into my life, and it could be a partner, it could be a child, it could be a lot of things, right?
I've heard the analogy of going shopping when hungry, right? When you're going to a grocery store and you're like, I am starving. The next thing you know, like the Tostitos and the Doritos, like anything that you can get your hands on is in the shopping cart. And when you go satiated and you say, okay, this is what I really feel like might add to my diet in the next week, you might find that you're choosing whole foods, that you're picking things that are just a little more well-rounded. At least it's going to be a less expensive trip. If you're going about life saying something is broken, I need to fill a hole, then the things you put into your shopping cart are not necessarily going to be wholesome. But if you go in feeling I am sated, I am satisfied, that's not to say, particularly when it comes to conception, that if you go in feeling satisfied, you're going to get your basket filled with a baby, but that at least the process will be a little bit less. I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, but you know where I'm sort of going with this analogy.
Yeah, 100%. And
thank you for listening to Stork'd with your host, Julia Carroll. This podcast is changing the conversation around the ways people define and create family. If you like what you hear, please support us by sharing with friends and following on Instagram at Stork'd_podcast. We also always appreciate it when you rate and review us wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts. For more information, visit storkedpodcast.com to sign up for our newsletter. That's STORKD podcast.com.